Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to Silverstone as we get underway with qualifying for the 10th race of the International GT Open season as you join myself, Ben Evans, on a beautiful day here at the home of the British Grand Prix with a field of 25 cars about to take to the track of what promises to be an enthralling session. We've got 30 minutes to play with, so we're expecting to see everybody doing it. One or two qualifying runs, depending on where they are with their allocation of the Michelin tyres from yesterday. Well, in terms of yesterday's race, it was victory for Daniel Serra and Marco Chiocci. In the event, though, just 0.4 of a second up on the line from the hard-charging Jerome Merle and Giovanni Venturini, with then the podium completed by Andres Saravia and Fran Rueda. In the Pro-Am class, it was equally close, but Ollie Wilkinson and Bradley Ellis just held on from David Prel and Renat Salikov. And we also had a great battle in the Am class, eventually Giulio Borlenghi and Andrei Lewandowski claiming the honours. So all of that in terms of the championship means that Michael Max still leads the way, but he conceded 4 points to Saravia and Rueda yesterday, so Max championship leads now down to just 6 points in the Luzik Racing Ferrari from the Teo Martin Motorsport pairing, with then Giovanni Venturini and Jerome Merle still 18 points off the lead of the championship. Fourth overall, just behind Pierre Guidi. There is the Team Parker Racing Bentley. Callum McLeod at the wheel this morning. Unfortunately, Ian Logie was forced into retirement in the first half of yesterday's race, as the principal of the GT Sport organisation, Mrs. Perret, surveys on the pit lane. Callum McLeod begins to build up the pace at the wheel of the Bentley. Now, we could be in for a fascinating session because there are some drivers who didn't maybe, like McLeod, get a chance to really challenge for a big result yesterday afternoon. Tom Onslow Cole, another British driver enjoying his home event, was the driver who set the fastest lap of the race, but he was a lap down after Valentin Pierberg was forced to pit early on for bodywork damage. So Onslow Cole could be a driver well worth watching for pole position. The other real challenge for the drivers as we go in car with Onslow Cole in the SPS Automotive Mercedes was just making sure that they got the most out of the Michelin tyre for the duration of the race. We saw all the pro cars, bar one, pitting before the halfway point in the race, and I was talking to a couple of drivers last night. They were saying that going 40 minutes or so on the same set of tyres was really taking some managing. So that is going to be fascinating to follow. And that means I think we're going to see a variety of strategies for this qualifying session. So at the moment, none of the Luzik Racing Ferraris have ventured forth onto the circuit. Another driver who may well challenge for pole is David Perel in the Pro-Am class, who actually absolutely scythed through the field late on. But Onslow Cole looking to try and set an early marker here. He is in a little bit of traffic. It is behind Michele Rugolo on an outlap in the Pro-Am Luzik Racing Ferrari, and Rugolo, a driver with ample experience, moving aside, allowing Onslow Cole to have his run, indeed in car with Michele Rugolo, as he cruises and then picks up the throttle. Callum McLeod, also another driver on a quick lap immediately in the Team Parker Racing Bentley. So we're going to see some quick times being posted almost with immediate effect, as Fabrizio Crestani, a 2 minutes 1.235. Onslow Cole actually aborting the run. He peels into the pit lane. Yesterday's pole position was a 1 minute 58.608 for Daniel Serra. So it's the sort of benchmarks that we're looking for. And there is the car that won yesterday's race in the hands of Marco Chiocci for this morning's qualifying session. And Chiocci has won 2 of the last 3 races, plus he deputised for Alessandro Pierguidi in Spa. It means he's got 51 points in the championship. If he keeps up this run of success, he may well be bring himself into contention. And apologies, I think we've got the in-car camera with Marco Chiocci rather than Michele Rugolo, as Accelerates down the Wellington Straight. Will down the hang straight rather, as here is Marco Ciocci then at the wheel of the Racing Ferrari into Club, and that looks like a lap that has been backed well out of by Marco Ciocci. Already we've got the first time disallowed for track limits. It's unfortunately for him, Callum McLeod in the Team Parker Racing Bentley. So Darren Burke is currently the quickest driver of the session at 2 minutes, 0.657. Burke stepping in to the ARC Bratislava car this weekend alongside Miro Konopka. Daniele Diamato goes second in the RS Racing Ferrari at 2 minutes, 0.907. And then Michele Rugolo up to third with a 2 minutes, 0.916. Callum McLeod immediately looking to get back onto the pace. We now have got the last couple of cars entering the fray, including the Ombra Racing Lamborghini of Alex Frasinetti, which was absolutely flying in Frasinetti's hands yesterday, and the brace of Rinaldi Racing Ferraris for David Perel and Steve Parrow. So Martin Motorsport mechanics getting to work on the car of Andres Saravia. Saravia and Rueda, they have had 2 victories to their credit this year, as opposed to the 3 for Championship leader Mikael Mack, although Mack hasn't been on the podium since race 1 at Spa. This is the car that was really challenging for pole position yesterday. Riccardo Agostini and Rick Breukers. It was Breukers who qualified second. It's Agostini who is at the wheel for this session, and they had a lot of success seconds in the pits to contend with, based on consistency from previous races, as Callum McLeod briefly goes fastest, but not for long. Jerome Mull, a 1 minute 59.606. So we are beginning to see some times coming in. Riccardo Agostini also shaping up for a pretty good lap here, having been quicker than anybody through the first sector. Reasonably good middle sector, although a bit down on teammate Jerome Mull. One of the pleasing things about yesterday's race was that it was trouble-free for everybody with the exception of the Team Parker Racing Bentley. And that meant that there was no damage incurred, not too many repairs to be done overnight. Agostini, cross line then, goes second at 2 minutes exactly. He couldn't do that again if he tried. To the nearest thousandth of a second, exactly 2 minutes. Here, meanwhile, is Tom Onslow Cole, and Onslow Cole not yet seen a full flying lap from him, but every indication suggests that he is going to be right on it in this session in the fight for pole position. He and Valentin Pierberg looking to try and snatch some points away from the Pro-Am Championship class leaders, Miguel Ramos and Fabrizio Crestani. Unfortunately, that 2 minutes exactly for Riccardo Agostini. He's going to lose it for track limits. 1 minute 59.606, currently the fastest time we've seen in the session. This is going to smash that, and it has every indication of being into the 1 minute 58 second bracket, which is where we're starting to look at times that will be genuinely setting the upper echelons of the grid, as Onslow Cole accelerates through, then cross line, and the 1 minute 58.778. That would have been good enough for third on the grid yesterday. So Onslow Cole laid down the marker almost immediately. He has got the car of Caca Bueno just ahead of him on the 2 Drivex Mercedes. Alan Kader in the other Drivex Mercedes, victorious in the Hungaroring after a stunning drive to pole position there. The Mercedes, really well-sorted car. So we remain in car with Onslow Cole. Bueno also beginning to build up the pace, and this first sector for Onslow Cole not particularly up on where he was a lap ago. So he may decide to call it quits for this lap. So the order is Onslow Cole then, from Riccardo Agostini now, who goes second, 1 minute 59.487. Jerome Mole to third, Alex Frasinetti up to fourth, Marco Ciocci then in fifth, Callum McLeod in sixth, Darren Burke, the current pace setter in the AM class, in seventh, Ollie Wilkinson in eighth. There's a bit of a moment there at Abbey for Onslow Cole. I expect that will be that with regards to this lap. Juan Cruz Alvarez leaps up to sixth in Teo Martin Motorsport BMW, a 2 minutes .312. Third of the way through the session now. And the car to watch next time round, I would suggest, is going to be Alain Cadet, as he begins to build up the pace. Also possibly David Perel in the Rinaldi Racing Ferrari, as Cadet, true to that, goes third, a 1 minute 59.533. Onslow Cole rolls into the pit lane. Bueno completes that lap we were following, goes into 11th position. So there is a little bit of a look from the external angle of the moment at Abbey for Onslow Cole. That's how it felt from the cockpit. Just catching the understeer, letting the car run out wide. Here, meanwhile, is a look at Ollie Wilkinson in the Optima Motorsport Audi, having a big moment. He'll have felt that. Right, Alain Cadet. This is a driver who is now fourth, because Fabrizio Cristani's just gone second in the session, a 1 minute 59.159. But Cadet putting the car on pole position at the Hungaroring. He has got Steve Parrow right behind him. I don't think this lap's going to be an improvement, just because of the fractions of a second that Cadet would have lost behind the Rinaldi Racing Ferrari. Nonetheless, he moves down through the gears into Village, then around the loop. Michele Rugolo has just burst up into 10th. Mikkel Mack, we've not seen the best of him yet. He's currently in 16th place, and this isn't going to be an improved lap for Cadet, but next time round he has got clear track in front of him. So let's see whether or not he goes round for another shot at it. Just talking to the drivers, they were saying that really, once they get the tyre working exactly as they want it to for qualifying, it's 1, maybe 2 laps. So let's see what Alain Cadet can do. Accelerates through Woodcote on towards Copse Corner. Eduardo Liberati, meanwhile, goes 8th in the Vincenzo Sospiri Racing Lamborghini, as Juan Cruz Alvarez accelerates towards Stowe at the wheel of the Teo Martin Motorsport BMW. He and Lorenzo Berard Viega pursuing their second podium of the season, having finished as runners-up in race 2 in Paul Ricard. And that was by far their best weekend of the season. They're currently 13th in the standings. But the way that the points pay out in the International GT Open, and given the strength and depth of the field, every points finish is something of an achievement. Marco Ciocci currently in 7th place, as we're riding car with him. Riccardo Agostini losing his best time. Meanwhile, for track limits once more, plummeting him down to 19th. The Luzit Racing Ferraris have been such a powerful force so far this year. They've won 5 of the 9 races that we've had so far. Will they be able to make it a 6th? Ciocci runs around Luffield. See whether or not he's going to head to a flying lap. No, he's not. He darts into the pit lane as well. And we've got large swathes of the field in the pit. So in terms of the standings, but it's all Pro-Am cars in the top 3 places. Onslow, Cole, Cristani and Cadet. Jerome Mole, the top of the All-Pro entries in 4th from Frasinetti and Ciocci. Darren Burke is still currently the AM pole sitter from Martin Conrad, and then Alexei Chuklin, the 3rd of the AM runners, in 22nd on his qualifying debut in the International GT Open. So the Luzic Racing team at work. Here is Fabrizio Cristani, former champion, of course, in the International GT Open, going back to 2016, partnering the 2015 champion, Miguel Ramos. And he and Ramos have been metronomically consistent in the Pro-Am class. And they lead the Pro-Am championship. And he had a remarkable run of being on the podium in all 5 of the opening races of the season. They've had 1 subsequent Pro-Am podium since then, but they're yet to win a Pro-Am race. They just have a knack of notching up the points. And Crostani looking to build up for a lap. Alain Cadet is on a lap in the DriveX Mercedes. And Cadet has just done the fastest first sector of anybody, as Crostani ducks into the pit lane. Onslow Cole still quickest, 0.3 of a second up on Crostani, and then it's Cadet who's third, but Cadet, great first sector. He's got Daniele Diamato in the RS Racing Ferrari pursuing him, as through Albion Farm then, Cadet head down, charging. 37,000th of a second, his advantage through the first sector. It's this long middle sector that in reality makes up about half of the lap, which is the one that's going to tell us whether or not he is going to edge out Onslow Cole. No, he's not. A couple of seconds, in fact, to drift. And this is the concern, I guess, for Cadet, because the number of laps available to the drivers to set a quick time is so limited. You lose a lap in traffic, it really does close that qualifying window, and Cadet ducks into the pit lane as well. So we've got the majority of the field in the pits. Of those that are still circulating, we've got Darren Burke, who is the AM class pole sitter at the moment, the ARC Bratislava car, who is going well. Brace of Mercedes roll to a halt. Riccardo Agostini in the cockpit of the 25 car, and he really needs to have a lap without track limit violations, as Daniele Diamato just needs to have a quick lap. Maybe this is the one. Headlights ablaze then from the Ferrari Challenge Europe champion. 1 victory this year for Diamato. He will be on the hunt for more, but not a brilliant first sector, actually. A 36.2. That compares to Alain Cadet's 35.3. It's already 0.9 of a second adrift of the sort of pace that he'd won just through the opening exchange of the lap. As Darren Burke goes third in the ARC Bratislava car to really consolidate his position in the AM class, a 1 minute 59.353, just 0.6 adrift of Onslow Cole's present mark. So as we anticipated at the start of the session, a potentially very different looking grid for this afternoon's race, as Diamato looking unlikely to make an improvement on this lap. Here is Darren Burke down the hanger straight then, and Burke, driver who's renowned for being incredibly rapid. This lap, though, has got the makings of an in-lap. He's a couple of seconds back from where he was last time round, but that is going to give he and Miro Konopka great opportunity to build a little bit of a buffer over their AM class rivals. The race later on. There is the car of Onslow Cole, up on the air jacks. Driver strapped in the cockpit, just concentrating on the task at hand. Meanwhile, here comes the AM class championship leader, Giulio Borlenghi. Borlenghi yet to really set much in the way of an indicative lap time on an out lap now, having just ventured from the pits. A couple of cars out of the pits and circulating. A third of the session to run. And the Vincenzo Suspiria Racing team, they've been really stealthily successful this year. Kangling and Edoardo Liberati in the pro class have increasingly featured up into the top 10, whilst Andrei Lewandowski and Giulio Borlenghi have built themselves a nice little buffer in command of the AM Championship. Borlenghi currently in 24th position. 2 minutes 2.591, so he needs to find at least 0.4 of a second on this run to clamber up the grid at all. He's coming towards the end of an outlap, so he'll steadily be building the pace from here on in. Attacks Luffield nonetheless. It's a little bit of a slide as the Mercedes just begins to kick its tail out underneath him. Through he goes, and across the line for Giulio Borlenghi. And into a flying lap pretty much immediately, having done his 2 best sectors of the session through the end of that outlap. So Borlenghi on his way, Marco Ciocci trying to put together a good lap, and here is Ollie Wilkinson. So Wilkinson in the Otto Motorsport Audi, yesterday's Pro-Am class winner, not on a flying lap on this occasion. He did his best lap of the session though last time through, which was good enough for 15th position. And just behind Wilkinson is Marco Ciocci, who is looking as if he can try and carve an improvement. And Ciocci goes 4th, 1 minute 59.5. And what's fascinating about this session is it's just an outlap and bang for these drivers. They're getting the heat into the tyres very quickly. Martin Conrad currently 2nd in the AM class, in the HTP Motorsport MS Racing Mercedes. He and Alexander Fraquina in pursuit of the AM Championship. And this, so far, for Martin Conrad, has been his best lap of the session. We've also got good laps in play from David Perel. Giuseppe Cipriani also winding up a bit of pace. And Conrad, if he keeps this lap up, is going to be right up there in the pecking order alongside Darren Berg. Potentially may even just hit the LC Bratislava driver in the for AM pole position. Taking that swooping line into Luffield. Needs to get the Mercedes on the pace as soon as he can afterward. David Perel, meanwhile, we said he was on a good lap. He goes 4th in the Rinaldi Racing Ferrari. They're not quite hitting the pace of yesterday's session yet. And Martin Conrad goes 6th with a 1 minute 59.531. So Tom Onslow Cole, the only driver to have dipped into the 1 minute 58 second bracket. Yesterday we had 11 of them under the 2 minute margin. We've got 9 so far. And here is Michele Rugolo really pushing. But there is still time to play with. David Perel continuing to press on. Oh, and he lost his best time from a lap ago as well for track limits at Copse Corner. So this, an important lap for Perel if he can sustain the pace, because that 4th place that he gained last time through is going to find itself being converted back to something in the region of 16th. 6.5 minutes to run in the session. Also having a good lap is Michele Rugolo, and really pushing through Abbey. And Michele Rugolo comes past us, goes 9th, a 1 minute 59.8. Alex Frasinetti in the Ombra Lamborghini goes 4th, 1 minute 59.402, and the fastest final sector of anybody in the session for Frasinetti. So everything to play for. David Perel, it's like he's going to post a reasonably good time here. This is the Ombra Lamborghini Huracan. Frasinetti, a last-minute call-up to partner Damiano Fioravanti this weekend, and he was scintillating in the race yesterday. He's catching Michele Rugolo, gets a bit of tow, as we're in car with Onslow Cole, with good reason, because Tom has just posted the fastest first sector of anybody in the session. As Fabrizio Crestani holds on to 2nd, David Perel goes 5th. Daniele Diamato leaps up into 9th. Callum McLeod has also just set the fastest first sector now. 2/10 up on, in fact, on Onslow Cole through the first sector. So all the times chopping and changing. Quite a few drivers losing their best laps as well with track limits. Caco Bueno goes 6th now. Drivex Mercedes, head of team at Alam Kader, who is on a good lap. we've suddenly got the entire timing screen has gone blue, but Onslow Cole, this looks like it's going to further extend his advantage at the top of the times as he accelerates through Woodcote. It's been a great lap this, and Onslow Cole a 1 minute 58.327, and that comfortably the quickest lap we've seen this weekend. 0.3 quicker than yesterday's pole position. Ollie Wilkinson again pushing very, very hard in the Optima Motorsport Audi. And Callum McLeod's shot at glory would appear to have come to an end at Abbey in the Team Parker Racing Bentley. And McLeod currently in 16th place. He still needs to hook it all together for a good lap. Frasinetti, meanwhile, has gone second, a 1 minute 58.960. We'll see how long that holds for as we're back in car with Onslow Cole, who is continuing to chase improvements. Alain Kader now moves second, a 1 minute 58.657. And into the closing moments of the session once more, we are seeing some very, very good times being posted. Andres Saravia up to 6th in the Teo Martin Motorsport BMW, and he'll be very pleased with that, particularly as Mikael Mack has just gone 15th in the Luzit Racing Ferrari with his best lap of the session. Fabrizio Crostani crossing the line, improving his time, but not his position. He remains in 3rd. Riccardo Agostini up to 4th in the Imperiale Racing Lamborghini Huracan. Onslow Cole still on the cusp of an improvement, depending on how much he gets delayed by Jiatong Liang. Liang also on his best lap of the qualifying period, so he's not going to move aside for Onslow Cole. Onslow Cole's pole position mark of 0.3 for second, looking like it's going to be difficult for others to surmount. And Onslow Cole flashes through, doesn't quite improve, still quicker than anybody else as we now pick up Alain Kader. Kader fractionally up on his best through the first sector. Would appear to have got himself a little bit of clear air, but he's 0.4 down through the middle sector, so nothing doing almost certainly on this lap for Alain Kader. Michele Rugolo flashes past us, goes 13th. And the Luzit Racing Ferraris are uncharacteristically not really there in this session, having set pole position yesterday. As Callum McLeod's come past and gone 5th, Kader doesn't improve, so the current order with just under 2 minutes to run: Onslow Cole from Kader, then Fabrizio Crostani 3rd, Jerome Mole 4th, Callum McLeod 5th, Andres Saravia 6th, Ollie Wilkinson another slightly ragged moment. He's currently in 20th place, possibly asking a bit more from the car than he's really able to. Here then is the Team Parker Racing Bentley of Callum McLeod. Fractionally away from his best through the first sector. But again, that Bentley really so much power underneath it. And McLeod right on the limit through Stowe into Vale. Just 1 minute left in this qualifying period, so it's likely that McLeod will take the checkered flag at the end of this lap. Neither Tom Onslow Cole nor Alain Kader looking like they're going to improve. Fabrizio Crostani in 3rd is in the pits. So Jerome Mull and Callum McLeod have both got an opportunity. They can find a couple of tenths of a second here to upset the top 3. Marco Giocci in the pits as well in 10th. Luzit Racing Ferrari in car with McLeod, and it all went away from him a little bit through the middle sector, so he is not going to improve on this occasion. I wouldn't be unsurprised if he just peels into the pit lane rather than come through to claim the checkered flag, unless the team think that he can just sneak one more lap out of the session, which he doesn't quite do, for my reckoning. Meanwhile, Jerome Mole goes third as he takes the flag, 1 minute 58.673. So Jerome Mole did find the time that he needed. Eduardo Liberati on a good lap. Mikael Mack has posted his best to 1 minute 59.9. Liberati taking the flag, 1 minute 59.7. And we've now got 18 of them beneath the 2-minute barrier. Shows just how competitive this field is. The top 18 cars covered by just 1.5 seconds over the course of this qualifying session. And the last few cars all through to take the checker flag. The midfield is ferociously close as Riccardo Agostini leaps across the line and clumbers up to 6th in the late stage of the session. Essentially, we have got 0.6 of a second covering 5th through to 18th from this qualifying period. And that sets us up beautifully for the race later on this afternoon in the meantime. Onslow Cole can celebrate pole position as he rolls down the pit lane back to the SPS Automotive pit box. A really, really good drive that from Onslow Cole, and he will be excited, I'm sure, to start from pole and hopefully not have the bad luck that befell Valentin Pierberg early in yesterday's race. So another thoroughly entertaining qualifying session here at Silverstone for the International GT Open. The last couple of cars, I think, all have pretty much taken the checkered flag now. Jiatong Liang, one of the last making his way back to the pits, will start from 22nd place. So here's a look at then how they've qualified. Onslow Cole, pole position, and the top Pro-Am, sharing the front row with another Pro-Am car, Valam Kader. Jerome Mole then starting from 3rd, ahead of Fabrizio Cristani. Callum McLeod for the Team Parker Racing Bentley up to 5th, alongside Riccardo Agostini. Andres Saravia well up in 7th, and he and Fran Rode will be hoping to take some points out of Mikael Mack, with Darren Burke, a superb AM pole, 8th overall in the ARC Bratislava entry, with Alex Frasinetti and David Perel a tantalising 5th row of the grid. Likewise for row 6, Marco Ciocci and Caca Bueno, with Martin Conrad, the second of the AM runners, in 13th, just ahead of Michele Rugolo. Juan Cruz Alvarez, Daniele Diamato, Eduardo Liberati have all got a little bit of work to do, but especially Mikael Mack down in 19th position, albeit only 1.5 seconds off pole, with Giulio Borlenghi completing the top 20. Then Ollie Wilkinson, Jiatong Liang, Alexei Chuklin, Giuseppe Cipriani and Steve Parrow completing the field. We will be back at about 1:30 local time today. Until then, it's goodbye from Silverstone.
Dom, Onslow Cole, home race and pole position. That's wonderful.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic result to get this at my home event. So really pleased. We've got lots of friends and family and sponsors here today. So fantastic result to start the day, you know.
And of course, we have seldom seen Silverstone in these conditions. It's just perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I live 30 minutes up the road from here, and it's never like this. So to come to Silverstone and get such a glorious day, this is really nice. Whoever booked this, thank you very much.
How you see the race this afternoon?
Hopefully we can maintain position. I know we have a Mercedes next to us. These guys are very quick also, and we're battling with them in the championship. So ideally we need to stay ahead and hopefully